Hello Key Stage 1 and welcome to your fifth and final day of Week 8 writing lessons. I'd like you to start today's lesson with some retrieval practice, so if you click on the link for the Quick Fire 5 Key Stage 1 grammar quiz. Good luck! Okay, so let's take a look at your learning objective for today's lesson. Today your learning objective is to publish my work. So we're going to be using your planned poem that you did on Wednesday's lesson, your acrostic poem, and you're going to be writing it up neatly. So have a look at our success criteria. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to say, I can write on the line. I can also join up my writing, and I can even reread my work to check it makes sense. Let's just remind ourselves what an acrostic poem is, and I've got some examples of how they should look. So an acrostic poem is a poem where the first letter in each line spells out a word or phrase. And we've got three examples here. We've got one called snow, you can see that word down there, one called summer, and one called toaster. And remember that the word that you can see going down is what the poem is about. So let's read snow as an example. Soft white crystals glistening in the sky. Noses are freezing, so we all go inside to get warm. On the snowy hill where we live, we gather around the window to watch shining stars above. Wet balls of water are coming down to the ground. That one is quite a detailed poem because it's got full sentences. And some of you might have challenged yourselves and written full sentences in your plan. And then you've got one that's slightly different. This one's summer, so I'll read through it. Smearing on sunscreen, under the umbrella for shade, melting popsicles, massive waves. Everyone happy, ready to play all day. So as you can see, this one is quite different to the first one, as some of them are just expanded noun phrases and some of them are slightly longer phrases, but there aren't really any full sentences in that one like the first one. So your plan might be more similar to this one, or it might be more similar to this one. Here you can see that I have written my poem up neatly, so I've published my poem now. I used my plan that I went and completed on Wednesday for my poem Beach. As you can see, it's spelt down the side, and then I've written it here up neatly, so I'll read it to you. Brilliant blue skies, enormous waves, awe-inspiring sandcastles, crunchy fish and chips, hungry seagulls flying noisily. As you can hear in mine, sometimes I've just used expanded noun phrases. For example, this section here, this line here in my poem. For the letter E, I've written enormous waves. So enormous is my adjective and it's describing the waves. And then for the letter H, I've decided to challenge myself. That's when I just did on Wednesday. And I have actually added in an adjective and an adverb. So have a listen. Hungry seagulls flying noisily. So hungry is my adjective because it's describing the seagulls, and noisily is my adverb because it's describing how they're flying. Hopefully you managed to include some adverbs and adjectives in your poem too. Now I've shown you how I've published my poem, it is time for your activity. So you will be publishing your poem on this template here. It's got all pictures of the seaside around the edges so that it looks really, really good when it's written up. I'd like you to use your planning template that you used on Wednesday, and hopefully you will have written a line for each letter in the word seaside. Remember to include those adjectives, and if you've challenged yourself to include them, make sure you include your adverbs as well. Thinking about our learning objective and our success criteria, make sure that your writing is on the line, that it's joined up and clear to read, so that at the end you can reread it and check it makes sense. Good luck! That brings us to today's plenary. Once you have finished writing up your poem, finished publishing it, I would like you to read your published poem to someone else. Make sure that when you are speaking you have a loud voice, a clear voice, and a good pace for reading. So making sure you're not reading too quickly and that your audience can hear you clearly and can enjoy your poem. Finally, we're just going to reflect on today's lesson. So looking at our learning objective to publish my work. Let's look at our success criteria. So first we have I can write on the line. So have a look at your poem, your published poem. If you've managed to write on the line, well done, you have achieved that today. Next, we're going to look at this part of our success criteria. I can also join up my writing. Now I know that most of you have got fantastic handwriting, so I'm guessing that you can all say you've joined up your writing. And then finally, I can even reread my work to check it makes sense. So when you were doing your plenary or reading your poem to someone else, if you manage to reread it without any help, then you have achieved that part of your success criteria also. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the lesson. Well done for working really hard this week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.